Welcome to the show. This is Mind the Gap. I'm one of your hosts, Darius, aka Johnny Tsunami.
I am TK, aka the Informational Alchemist.
Informational alchemist.
Yeah,
I like that.
I like it too. That's why I said it.
Confidence. I like it.
Man, just a little bit.
So today we are going to be talking about Malik Yoba and his recent statement he made out of the blue, I guess, about how he feels about trans women or his attraction to it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important to talk about that because I think anytime there's a minority group who feels, disenfranchised, they want to have a voice, and I think it's important to listen. I think this is a good segue into having a conversation like that. But before we get into this conversation, remember to follow us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, PODMTG. Make sure you subscribe to us on Patreon, Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, you know what I'm saying?
Also, while you on YouTube watching us, hit the subscribe button.
Subscribe, like, share, tell your friends, please. We need all that.
Yeah.
All right.
And never forget, you can always leave a comment. If you have any opinions, if you said something wrong, always leave something for us to read, and we'll respond if
you're worthy.
Yeah. It don't come with no fire. We shoot back now.
Excuse me. I'm a bit under the weather.
Yeah.
But Malik Yoba, if you don't know, Malik Yoba felt the need to let people know that he is attracted to trans women, which in itself is cool. I guess if that's where it stops, I understand what he's saying. If you see a person that looks like a woman with a nice shape,
that's what I thought he meant.
To naturally be attracted to her, but he maintains that he's a heterosexual
suspiciously maintains that. If you ain't seen the interview with the Breakfast Club, go watch it.
Yeah,
it's very informative. It's whether you agree or disagree, it's still informative because that's not if you're not from that lifestyle
community.
Yeah. Then it's very informative on how they view things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you
agree or not.
Whether you agree or not. And if you don't care, then don't care.
Then don't watch it.
Then that's fine.
But I would encourage you, if you want to know, more about their plight and how they feel, what they're going through, to take a look or just ask somebody you may know, because I guarantee you know somebody from that community, even if you're not aware.
Yeah,
but
facts.
Yeah, on that interview, he did have a doth protest too much, vibe about himself. I'm not gonna speculate about that, man.
Yeah, whatever. That's whatever.
But like I was saying, if it is just, I get it. You see what you see, and you like what you like.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the interesting thing about it is, the things that interest me about it is, like, if he did participate, if he did go out with trans women, what? Because we're gonna have another podcast. We're gonna actually have an episode on our podcast about this, about gender and gender roles and sexuality and things like that. So if you're a part of that community, please get in contact with us, because we love to have you on the show.
You are invited.
So you can, let us know, because I'm sure us just going back and forth is not gonna get it.
We don't know.
Yeah,
we don't know.
Because I don't understand that plight. Like the closest I can even try to fathom is if me being who I am now, me being what I recognize it in my body. If you just transported my body into a woman's body right now, I'm not sure I would feel comfortable.
I don't even get that understanding. So
see,
that's why I would need somebody to explain that to me.
So that's the closest I can get to even fathom being in a situation like that. But that whole conversation just has me, wondering what does it mean, because our whole thing about, I don't know about you, I won't speak for you, but what does it mean for somebody to say they feel like a man or feel like a woman?
Yeah.
And I think that's a tricky question for even me to answer as a man. What do you feel like a man? Because I don't know what it is about me being a man that's unique to my genitalia or whatever, that just make, because what I feel
what you mean?
Like,
other than the chemicals?
Yeah, like when you ask me like, what does it mean to man? I'd be like, my first things are like, take care of your responsibilities, you know, tell the truth, you know, shit like that. Like, but I don't
Yeah.
think that's unique
Yeah, that's
to
not
like
yeah.
me to be
To
able
an
to like.
yeah.
That's like what makes me a man. So when I hear somebody say, I feel like a woman or I feel like a man, it's like, what about
What about a woman and a man that
that
makes you
you
feel
feeling
like that?
that like makes you?
Yeah, that's strange to me also, because I don't. We had that conversation before.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I'm saying? If you never seen a woman,
yeah,
how would you say I identify with something else?
yeah,
If it was an island full of men, how would you identify with?
right.
What would you say? Or I can't say in my mind, like I see an alligator. I can like, well, I feel like an alligator.
Yeah, how does
sometimes.
an alligator
Like I don't
feel?
know.
Like
Like
I don't know
that'll be
not to trivialize, you know, what people going through or whatever.
no,
But
no,
it's
just
just that I don't.
I don't understand other than just
Yeah.
to be who I am as I am
Yeah.
in this body. Like, I don't know.
Like I feel like me. I don't know if that's like what you would consider to be a man or manly.
Nah,
You know,
I'm just TK.
that's like so. That's the craziness. I don't understand. I won't say crazy, but that's
That's the conversation I would like to have.
Yeah.
Like, to see like what are the feelings on it?
what does it mean to feel like. What is your feeling? And I looked up, you know, gender roles and all that stuff like that.
Yeah, we did.
And I looked it up today. It's like 58 different like genders and ways you.
Yeah,
and I'm like that is
I'm okay with
overwhelming.
And
for me
that's
right now.
And like most people, and I wish it would stay like this. Like most people, if you don't care for that, just don't care for it. Don't antagonize. Don't belittle. Don't. That's their thing.
Yeah.
That's their lifestyle. Keep it as that. Which is I didn't understand even with the Malik situation. I didn't understand how. I understand how it blew up.
Mm-hmm.
Understanding how it blew up is easy. People always waiting on Twitter for the next hot click or something
Right.
like that. So you know what I'm saying? No, if 800 people see something and then their friends get confidence behind them to tweet something or write something, it's completely understandable.
Right.
But the hate or the slander, the
Mhm.
stuff like that, that's why I don't. The negativity or the energy to put out there that you put out there to be negative.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that, especially with something that you don't fully understand.
Mm.
That's what always makes
I
it.
think those people don't even want to understand. Like they disagree before they even like heard.
Decide or listen. Like that's what I don't.
Cause
Don't-
like run like because my thing is like when I was talking about earlier about people feeling disenfranchised. Like this is not anything new, and I think a lot of times people think that this is just coming about like in recent years and it's a part of agenda and stuff like this. But if you look back in history, man, there's been examples of people who from this community like throughout history. Like if you just go look at like Native American cultures, they have 3 to 5 genders. They have like man, woman, then they have men with 2 spirits, and then they have like women with 2 spirits, and then they may have like transgender.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So people have felt like this for a long time, and it's just now that they're getting to a place where they feel like they can voice themselves, and they have some measure, of power. So if you do say something, they are able to voice themselves and have some bit of a sway. So that's why I think it's important that we take advantage of this moment. Like Malik Yoba, and I don't know like who exactly he was speaking to. Like you thought you may be speaking to dudes who participate, in that
Engagement
in that community, and because you remember on the Breakfast Club interview that we were referencing earlier, they were saying a lot of men date them, but they don't do it out in the open or whatever because they feel judged or not. And I think a lot of times that goes sour, like when it does get out, because a lot of transgender women are assaulted, and sometimes that results in death. And I think it's important that we get to a point where it's not like as taboo, to where people are lives are being taken just because they are a part of that community.
I did agree with a portion of what they were saying. It was like they feel like they're like quote unquote gay or some degree. That's not a word for those people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how like in our society we need labels.
Right.
Not so much us because we understand that don't mean anything, but a lot of times people need labels. And if you label something and you normalize it, it's easy for people to be more open to coming out.
Yeah.
So I think that's also a thing. But also I think the biggest thing, and that you notice my thing, people don't look themselves in the mirror and say, this is who I am, this is who I like, this is what I like, and accept that from themselves.
Right.
So because it's easy, if I accept me for me, in my opinion, if I accept me for me, I don't always need somebody to accept me outside of me.
Right.
Only time I need you to accept me when it's time for like for me to get a job or for me to go down the street. I need you to leave me alone at least.
Right.
Like I'm okay with, like, you know how I am. You may disagree. Like I'm okay with you being racist. I'm okay with you not liking me. I'm okay with all that. But don't hold me up. Don't hinder me. If you don't like black people, when I come to your mechanic shop, but you the best mechanic for the job, hey man, I just need you to fix it, fam. Like those are your feelings. Feel the way you feel, and that's another thing. I'm okay with you feeling the way you feel if you have full understanding of how you feel and why you feel like that. Mm-hmm. If you don't like me because of some propaganda behind that, then I can't agree with that.
You feel like disqualified.
Yeah, you disqualified because you going based off something else. If you don't like me, just once you understand like my culture or who I am, and you still don't like me once you have an understanding, I'm cool with that. Okay. Don't trip me up. I don't like how people try to force people to like people. Mm-hmm. And I also don't like people hating people.
That's another thing that people use against, like transgender community. Like people, they're trying to force, like their views on the other people, and that's what's causing a part of the resistance. You think there's any truth to that?
I mean, you have like. Remember I did the vegan thing for 6 months, right?
Right.
So I was like around and like studying a lot of people that was vegan and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I found people that was like extremists. Like they were like going slaughterhouses, hugging the cows, getting thrown out, like do stuff like that. And then you also got extremists, like you got like Proud Boys, you got extremists right, you got extremists left. You gonna have extremists when it comes to that stuff.
Right.
You gonna have people that's gonna force their mindset on other people.
In this case, I think more so than extremists, I think it's people that are more sensitive to the issue because, of what position they may be in, and they're like afraid of, going back to where they were. So if somebody says something they feel like is out of pocket, is like they'll just jump on it. Like, and you see that like in any movement. If they see anything that might even look suspect, they'll just jump on it instead of being like, okay, well, this person didn't mean it or like that, or
that's what anything like that's what they try to find, like, but that's a part of the that's part of the cycle. And I think so that one person doesn't represent all of them.
Yeah, I think people just like when stuff like that happens, I think people just need to understand that's just a point of, a point of pain that's going to happen when people are trying to figure stuff out. It's going to be people that are, on the spectrum. And, you just need to try to.
And that one person don't represent everybody.
Yeah, but you can't just be like, oh, see, they just trying to force us to do all this. And it's like, nah, we just people who feel a certain way, and we just want people to listen. And at the end of the day, either, respect us enough to leave us alone, or just be like, what I mean?
At the
or
minimum,
try to come to the table.
At the minimum, leave them alone.
Yeah. So, I guess back to Malik Yoba. Because now I just want to, have a little fun with it, but you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, because here's what interests me about, like, sexuality and in Malik Yoba's case. So, if Malik Yoba considered himself a heterosexual male, and let's say he did go with a transgender woman, like, would he be considered gay or bisexual, straight? Because, like, on the same side, like, if a man is attracted to men, but he only dates women, is he gay or is he?
Those questions are, I don't know.
Because that's where it's like.
Because you're still making a choice.
Yeah.
I mean, he's making a choice not to go with how he feels.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So is it more so how you feel or what you act on?
Yeah, I don't know.
So
that's what that's what that comes in.
Or do they both matter?
You know what I mean? I don't know.
Because like if everything is in congruence and everything aligns with each other, like if I'm attracted to a woman and I sleep with women, does that mean I'm straight? Or is like if I'm gay and I sleep with women, does that mean I'm bisexual? Or is it? Because I would think it's a little bit more like complex than.
I think it's more complex because I don't know, man. Because I don't know how you feel, but I think the psychology of somebody can always be manipulated or changed. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
I think to a certain degree.
You know what I mean? Yeah. That's how you break out of habits. That's how you break out of certain things that you do throughout life. You know what I'm saying? So I always believe people can change and people can make themselves change. So with that, I have to also believe that. If you do something long enough, you become that.
Right.
So I would have to say, like, if you continue to.
I would say that you
Because I also have, even though I
Because
never.
my man from the Booty Warrior. Well, he just
the dude from jail.
Yeah, he just became.
Yeah,
he just became like.
But if he was never in that situation,
would he have been there?
Yeah, see, that's what makes me. I don't know. So I don't know.
Booty is more important than water.
So, but with that, even with that, like even with us having a conversation about that, which is, you know what I'm saying, it was just way out of our spectrum anyway. You would have to have a conversation with somebody that actually feel that way.
Which was what we need.
Yeah.
One of our audience members, if you'd be so kind.
And with that also being said, I don't understand why you would judge somebody. First of all, if you judge somebody, I don't think you should judge somebody without knowing everything or having a full understanding of something.
Yeah.
And if you are gonna judge, that's okay. Have that. But like I said, I do not like the hatred and slander that comes behind.
It's not necessary. For me, like when somebody just tells me who they are, I'm like, cool. Like if Malik Yoba was like, if he tells me he's straight, even if he does date transgender women, I'd be like, all right, God, I don't even want, because it hurts my brain to think that much.
Yes, it's not my.
So many
other things.
Because there's people. Remember that I sent you that like short. I don't know if it was an article, or it was a picture, but it was a transgender woman and a transgender man, and they were in a relationship together, and they consider themselves straight.
Yeah, and that's that, and unless I'm at a table having a conversation with somebody about that, or we doing an episode on that,
I'm like, cool.
Yeah, like cool.
That works for me.
That's them.
Yeah.
Are they happy? That's their business, man.
Yeah.
So it doesn't. I don't allow it to affect me as much as it affect other people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
some people are upset though.
And I also don't think, I don't know, man, because being offended is a weird thing. But I don't understand why people are upset because you're not living that man's life. I don't understand the preference over.
I think it's a combination. People don't like shaking the boat too much, and anytime sexuality or gender roles get brought up, they throw it at the kids. Like I don't want my kids exposed to this.
Don't have your kids around.
And all and everything.
Or they your kids or what is.
Or they don't want to have to do more work than they have to. Because when your kid sees like a man in a dress or a woman in a suit, and they ask you a question, now you have to put in work.
It's about parenting.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
To be like, well, yeah, let me.
That's parenting, right?
That's a part of parenting.
Okay, then I don't understand the problem. Don't have kids. Yeah. Don't have the kids, man.
But that's.
Don't have the kids. If you that adamant about it, hey, put them in another school, put them in another area. I mean, I know that's easier said than done, but it's much easier to figure out what it is or what's going on in that situation and explain it.
To do that, if you are one of the people that just are like, nah, I don't believe what you're saying, I'm not willing to listen, that will force you to have to come to the table to learn about it, to be able to educate them on like, well, this is why they do this is why that. But if you don't want to do that at all, then you're just going to shut all that down and be like, don't talk to me about that. And then your kid's going to have to go somewhere else for the information.
So when you don't want to talk about it, you go to Twitter with it? You go to social media with it? I was just trying to figure it out, man.
Trigger fingers turn to Twitter.
You know what I'm saying? I don't understand, man. That's what I mean. Like, if you don't want to deal with it or have anything, don't deal with it. Nobody's forcing you to deal with these people's problems. It's just you, the individual. I can understand you having a conversation at the barbershops, having a conversation on the podcast, or having a conversation in a circle, but like to forcibly have like, I have no like negative nor positive energy that goes in that direction, other than like saying, I wish you the best. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's it. But other than that, there's no...
I think there's a good conversation to be had about it, and we'll have that conversation.
I do think you should have that.
Yeah.
Always. I think that should always. My biggest thing, especially when we do the episode, we also got an episode called "The World's Biggest Problem."
Yeah.
And one of my spoiler alert is understanding and acceptance.
Yeah.
Those are my two biggest things. Because we fear what we don't understand, we hate what we don't understand, and then when you do understand it, or you barely understand it, you don't want to accept it because it's not of you, or you have to look at yourself.
I think the hardest thing for people to do, to continue on this tangent, is to like when you finally understand something and it goes against everything.
It is.
Then that's when it's like you make a choice.
What?
That'd be like, That's the hard one. That's the hard one. But when you get over that, that's like, yeah.
Because one of my biggest things that I do take away from the Bible is, you know, don't judge nobody. You don't fully know people.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? And I don't understand why people don't take that. I think it's so easy to not judge somebody because it takes no effort. It literally, in my opinion, takes no energy to say, you know, that person is that person. Cool. You know what I'm saying?
We'll get into all that.
Yeah.
We'll get into all that. But yeah, like in terms when we have, you know, this conversation about, you know, gender roles and everything, because my whole thing is, you know, is it really more so how you feel, how you want to be perceived by like society?
Yeah.
So we love to have a conversation with those people, and just to throw because what we were talking about, the other thing we were talking about, like if we found out one of our girls used to be a man or something like that, how we feel.
That was a good conversation.
Because the thing about it is, one, I want to know like how I missed it.
Yeah.
Because first I feel stupid. Like,
yeah, I really don't know. I really don't know.
Because I seen pictures and I ain't like, man, like, and I didn't get. And second of all, also like, because at that point we've been with our ladies for years or whatever, and it's like we've been built a relationship with them, and like, how am I supposed to feel? Like, I love this person, and it's like
no, you don't love that person. I can't say I love that person. That person lied to me the whole relationship.
So it'd be like,
it's over with, man. Yeah. It's over with. And most people like, I have to fight. You got. I was like, man, hell, I gotta go.
It's like I gotta be out.
I gotta get away.
I do think you should have told. If that was the case, you should have been told something.
Yeah, of course.
So remember, do you think? Well, I don't want to tell. Like,
you want to say it for the episode? Just say it for the episode.
No, I don't want to. It's not that I want to say. I don't know how to put it. To be like, I think there are certain things you should tell people before you enter into a relationship.
Oh, you talking about that concept? Yeah, you should most definitely tell somebody.
But I also think it's that person's job to do due diligence.
Oh yeah,
as well going in that relationship. So
you think I did when I met my girl? I made sure I seen them childhood pictures.
Was that before or after the kiss?
Ooh, I think it was.
I think it was after. Through the phone one.
No, I think it was after. It was after the kiss, most definitely. But so let me make sure. You know, so I had to make sure. I make sure.
I think if it's like because I know a lot of times like these violence happens. It's like, oh, they wake up the next morning and like they may find out that it was and then they lose their shit.
I don't think, because I watching the Breakfast Club, and it was like, I don't think it. If I'm not mistaken, the guy that was on there, he was saying that they just put that out there as like a propaganda tactic. But even though we think it does happen, he said that's not always how it happens. Sometimes it happens out of just pure hatred.
Right.
Like I watched this thing. I think it was in the UK on a train. This lesbian couple got beat up for just being on the train.
Yeah, that's trash.
They not bothering nobody, fam.
That's trash.
But that's what I mean. So I think sometimes, and just like with any other like disenfranchised group, like sometimes they not doing anything. They just walking the street,
being themselves.
And so I do believe that. So I can only imagine somebody, you know, hating somebody just because of that. Like, but that's what I'm saying. Like, just to put energy, like that's effort, fam. Like, I don't understand the effort that people put into these things, man. So, but yeah. But with that being said, the main focus of this episode is to show, or at least for me, is to mind your business. If you don't like it, if it's something that you disagree with, it's okay to talk about it. It's cool to talk about it. But when it comes down to like belittling or like shooting negative things towards somebody, especially something that you don't understand, I never agree with that. I never agree with those type of actions.
Right.
To cut something down before you have full understanding of something.
I agree with that. I second what my man to the right of me just said, and I want to add that I want people to remember that these are people. They have feelings. They differ from yours, but they don't make them wrong and they don't make you right. So if you do want to participate in the conversation, please do. And if you don't, do like my man said, and just go home.
Okay, yeah, go on about your business.
Just go home.
Yeah, talk about it amongst your peers. Just don't do it.
I wouldn't advise it because if you're not informed on something and you just like brewing hate or just like,
But as long as it's in that circle, well, I don't know. That's how it started. Yeah,
and then one.
Yeah. I agree. Have full understanding.
But yeah,
I also say this, just from watching the Dave Chappelle, and how they came from him. Don't. Some joke, if you feel offended by jokes, just the same thing about Dave Chappelle when he said those jokes and stuff like that. You don't have to watch. You don't have to be there for the slander. If you don't have to be there for the slander or the hate, don't be there. I never go to a country bar in Alabama. That's just not to say all people from Alabama like that, but a lot of stuff happens in Alabama. Like why would I subscribe to that? I don't subscribe to like certain channels on YouTube. Blades? Yeah, I don't Fox News. I don't do that. You know what I mean? Unless it's like they do something like a blatant lie. I don't.
Which is like when is that not?
I also believe to stand your ground. Stand your ground on what you are and what you're not, and let that be known. But like, don't subscribe to the hate. I think that's foolish too. Yeah. But yeah, that's why I'm at with it.
You got anything you want to add? That's it?
No, that's it. That's all I gotta add.
All right, so
stay in your lane, fam.
Thank you for joining us for this episode. Remember, follow us on social media at PODMTG, iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher. Listen to our podcast on there. Subscribe to us on Patreon, please.
Subscribe to us on YouTube, please. Yeah,
make sure you like, comment, share, tell your friends about us. We need a sign off. Like
you need a sign off. We do.
Like, mind the gap. Remember,
that's corny.
Mind the gap.
Nah, that's corny. We need like a remember. Mind the gap.
Yeah, that's not cool. Okay.
We'll figure it out. You know what I'm saying? We holler at you, man. Peace, love, and you know what I'm saying? Stay in the gap.
Yeah. One love.